He's blunt, arrogant and sometimes rude, but Peter Lyndon James doesn't care if his clients get offended. The former drug-addicted criminal is now trying to save their lives.
People are smoking methamphetamines today like they were cannabis 20 years ago. We have an epidemic on our hands. But I don't think it's okay for the taxpayer to pay for your stupidity.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Understood?
Yes. There's less rules in prison than there are in Shalom House.
Don't want gossip or backstabbing. Is that understood?
Yes. It's tough love treatment where patients are more like prisoners, but being here is their choice.
Unless you're serious about changing life, get up and bugger off. You are where you are because of the decisions you made.
But is this extreme drug and alcohol rehabilitation program the answer, or is it too much for these broken men?
There's actually not much love in tough love.
Well, basically, we have a zero tolerance. It's not okay to swear. It's not okay to gossip. It's not okay to smoke cigarettes. Speak up, stand up. We're just really, really strict. Right, really strict. Get rid of the smart aleck stuff and start being mature. You're a leader.
Peter Lyndon James is the founder of Shalom House, which is currently treating about 140 men aged between 18 and 61.
If you don't want to listen, then you can leave, because you're really not here to... this is not a game, this place. It's just amazing.
What stage are you?
3.
Well, you're now stage 5 and you can go home 7 days a week.
Some of them are fathers, tradies, businessmen and lawyers, but despite their diverse backgrounds, at some point they've all hit rock bottom.
I used to get paid and get on the meth and not rock up to work.
I ended up using probably 2 to 3 times a day, in excess of $1,200 a week. It started putting a strain on my family, putting a strain on my kids, putting a strain on my business that was already floundering.
Walter Tenhalf had a shocking wake-up call. Almost 3 years ago, the builder and successful business owner crashed head-on into an ambulance south of Perth. The accident was so serious, one of the paramedics was left fighting for his life and placed in a coma.
But I actually had methamphetamine in my system, so I shouldn't have been there in the first place. It was 100% my fault. I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have been there.
8 days after the crash, the father of 3 checked himself into Shalom House before going through the court process.
I would make no excuse for any of my actions. I'd just like to say I'm sorry, and I'll place myself before the courts, and we'll leave it with them.
Morning.
After serving 9 months of an 18-month sentence, Walter was released from prison and rejoined Shalom House in WA's Swan Valley. When entering the drug program, everyone is stripped of their privileges.
We're going to put 100% responsibility on you.
On day 1, their heads are shaved.
Are you worried you're going to break the rules? Are you worried that you're going to muck up and get kicked out?
Yeah, I'm really worried about that, but hopefully I don't. Hopefully I just bite my tongue and stick through.
The men then hand over their phones, keys and power of attorney.
All of a sudden, all they've got is themselves in an environment where you have to speak about what's going on because you can't hide.
It is also a cold turkey detox with the group medically supervised.
Every one of you will pay for your own rehab.
For the first 7 days, I didn't sleep. I didn't get a wink of sleep.
When I first come in, I didn't think I'd make it 2 weeks.
And when you're dealing with an addict, you've got a person who's got an addictive nature that looks for the boot and the chemical, and so we've got to go cold turkey.
Peter is speaking from personal experience.
I've done all the bad stuff. I've lived on the streets, I've eaten out of bins. You know what I mean? I've just done everything that you're not supposed to do.
The father of 2 was a career criminal. He has been in and out of prisons and institutions since the age of 9. While drug dealing, he says he sold on average $40,000 worth of methamphetamine a day. Eventually breaking his addiction, Peter sought to help others.
Fellas just kept coming. It was like the Pied Piper, but I didn't play a pipe.
From that, Shalom House was born.
They come in literally with nothing. They own nothing. They're at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. All they've got is the shirts in the back. And they just kept coming, and at 7 turned into 12, turned into 15, turned into 21, and then up now, currently we're at 140.
The rehabilitation program can run anywhere between 7 months and 3 years, and it does have a religious influence, requiring participants to attend daily prayers. It's overwhelmed by the demand. Peter says they currently take only 1 in every 20 applicants, as they only want people who are serious about change.
So the house is pretty full at the moment, and we've got like 2 overflow beds.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so
So this is in the corridor?
yeah.
You're kind, you're caring, you're considerate, you're compassionate.
Ricky Baker has been homeless before, and his life of drugs has led him to the brink of death.
Looking at that photo of you laying back in that hospital bed with all those tubes hanging out, you're dead. It's shocking.
The sad thing is, when I got out of hospital, I went and got on the drugs straight away, and that's a reality of addiction.
After 21 months and 2 attempts at rehab in Shalom House, Ricky is now in the final stage of the program. He also holds down a job at Access Hire.
It's good to have a second chance in life.
But it's too tough for some. When a current affair visited over a 2-day period, one participant quit.
Only because I run a tight ship. I don't tolerate any testosterone. There's no roosters here. We're all fluffy chickens. You were going to go up a stage, but instead you're going down, all the way down.
Professor Nicole Lee is from the National Drug Research Institute. She says programs like Shalom House aren't for everybody.
If you're helping one person but you're damaging 2 people, I don't think that's okay, especially when we have treatments that are effective that don't require that hardline kind of punishment approach.
Along with its tough love approach, Shalom House is different to other rehabs from a financial perspective. The men are charged just $300 a week, and that covers their food, rent and the program. For most of the guys, it comes out of their Centrelink payments, but after a couple of months, they're expected to find work and pay their own way.
Because it's their choice to do what they've done, it's their choice to come off of it. We don't feel that it's okay for us as an organisation to actually charge the taxpayer for that. That's not okay. They have to pay for their own rehabilitation.
The men work and volunteer with a number of local companies. 24-year-old Brodie Russin flew from Brisbane to beat his drug habit.
Meth is, it's not a joke, and it's not something to try for the first time. Because once you try it that once, I guarantee there's no going back.
He now works alongside horses at Shalom Equestrian Centre.
I did almost 8 years of drug abuse, and that doesn't get fixed in, 1 day, 1 month, 1 year. What is most important is that I put myself here.
I definitely would have been dead or divorced and depressed and trying to find happiness somewhere.
But all the fellas come alongside each other. They've all been through it, and they say, hey, well, if I can do it, you can do it. And they just come around like friends, and they support each other like one big family.
Walter is on track to graduate in a couple of weeks. Ricky and Brodie hope to follow by the end of the year.